On that rainy night 3 years ago, I died in my office. Today, I was reborn. Looking at the cup of tea on the desk that was still steaming, my hand trembled slightly. Mr. Wang, what's wrong? You look so pale. Ching Xiaoya's concerned voice came from behind me, and I whipped around. At 23, she was wearing a white dress, a harmless smile on her face. It was this very face that utterly ruined me 3 years later. To this day, I'm fine. I forced down the anger in my heart. Xiaoya, what are you doing here? Teacher Tian asked me to come find you. He said there was something important to discuss. Tian Haoran, the principal's son, my fiancé in my previous life. It was this very cup of tea that began my nightmare today. Teacher Wang, please drink your tea quickly. It's getting cold, Qing Xiaoya urged. I looked at that cup of tea, recalling the tragedy from 3 years ago. Back then, Qing Xiaoya had just started her internship at the school, young and beautiful, quickly becoming the focus of the male teachers. As her mentor, I personally taught her how to manage a class and how to prepare lessons. Who would have thought that this seemingly innocent and kind girl would collude with Tian Haoran to frame me? Xiaoya, I won't drink this tea. My stomach isn't feeling well. Qing Xiaoya's smile stiffened for a moment. Then shall I get you a cup of warm water? No need. I deliberately glanced at my watch. It's getting late. You should head back first, Qing Xiaoya clearly didn't expect me to refuse. A flicker of panic flashed in her eyes, but Teacher Tian said, we'll talk about Teacher Tian's matter tomorrow. I cut her off. Qing Xiaoya bit her lip and eventually left the office. After waiting for her to go far enough, I immediately poured that cup of tea into the nearby pothose plant pot. In my previous life, it was this very cup of tea that left me disoriented, leading to a series of absurd actions that ultimately ruined my reputation. Thinking back on it now, the tea must have been drugged. My phone suddenly rang. It was a call from Tian Haoran. Yuqing, Xiaoya said you're not feeling well, just a bit of a cold, nothing serious. Then I'll come over to see you. No need, I'm planning to go home and rest. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end of the phone. Yuqing, do you have some issue with me? You've been avoiding me a lot lately. Avoiding you in my past life. I gave you my whole heart, but you conspired with Qing Xiaoya and chose to stay silent when I was reported by parents for a student-teacher romance, and even at the final moment, you personally handed over that fabricated evidence to the Education Bureau. Haoran, I'm just tired. Alright then, get some rest early, we'll talk tomorrow. After hanging up the phone, I slumped into the chair. Having been reborn, I will never let the tragedy repeat itself this time. I will make them pay the price. Early the next morning, I deliberately avoided the office and went straight to the classroom. Class 5, grade 12 was the key class I taught. With only 3 months left until the college entrance exam, the students were all studying intensely. Class, today we are reviewing classical Chinese reading comprehension. In the middle of the lecture, the classroom door was pushed open. Qing Xiaoya walked in, followed by several unfamiliar middle-aged individuals. Sorry, Teacher Wang. Some parents are here to see you. My heart tightened. They're here on this very day in my previous life. It was Zhang Xiafeng's parents who came to accuse me of having an improper relationship with their son. Class, please study on your own for a moment. I need to step out. Stepping out of the classroom, the leading middle-aged woman immediately pointed at me and shouted, it's her. This teacher seduced my son, and look at this. She pulled out a photo, a picture of me and Zhang Xiafeng in the office. She often called my son to the office alone and even bought him gifts. Qing Xiaoya chimed in appropriately beside her. Teacher Wang, you really, enough. I interrupted her coldly. In my previous life, I was stunned by the sudden accusation, flusteredly defending myself and only making things worse. This time, I was prepared. This parent, you say I seduced your son. Do you have any evidence? Evidence? Isn't this photo enough? I took the photo, examined it carefully, and sneered. This photo is indeed a picture of me and Zhang Xiafeng, but it was taken last month when he won first prize in the essay competition. There were 3 other teachers present in the office at the time. You can go ask Zhang Xiafeng what else we talked about that day besides taking this group photo. Zhang's mother was taken aback, clearly not expecting me to be so calm. Qing Xiaoya quickly added, but parents have reported that you often call Zhang Xiafeng to your office alone. Yes, because his math grades have been consistently poor, as his homeroom teacher. Of course I need to talk with him to help improve his performance. I took out my phone and pulled up the chat records. I notified his parents in the class group chat every time we had a talk. All these records are here. Zhang's mother took the phone, looked at it, and her expression immediately changed. The records showed that every time I called Zhang Xiafeng for a talk, I would send a message in the group first. Parents of Zhang Xiafeng, your child's math grades have slipped. We'll have a chat after school. Moreover, after each conversation, I would post the child's issues and improvement suggestions in the group. This doesn't seem right. Mother Zhang looked at Qing Xiaoya. Didn't you say? Qing Xiaoya's face turned pale. I might have misheard. Just then, Zhang Xiaofeng ran out of the classroom. Mom, what are you doing here? Xiaofeng, tell Mom, has Teacher Wang ever done anything inappropriate to you? Zhang Xiaofeng looked bewildered. What? Inappropriate thing? Teacher Wang is very nice. She tutors me in math and encourages me to join the essay competition. But when you were alone in the office, Mom, there are always other teachers in the office. And Teacher Wang is always explaining problems. What are you thinking? Zhang Xiaofeng's words completely exposed Zhang Mama's accusation as false. Seeing that things were turning bad, Qing Xiaoya wanted to slip away, but I stopped her. Teacher Xiaoya, please wait. I walked up to her. Staring into her eyes, I want to know, who told Zhang Mama those things? Chapter 2, Qing Xiaoya's face instantly turned bright red, and she stammered without being able to say a word. By then, Zhang Mama had also reacted. She angrily questioned Qing Xiaoya. You said my son was seduced by Teacher Wang. I didn't. I just what? I pressed step by step. You just said with your own mouth that you heard something. And now you're saying you heard wrong. Qing Xiaoya bit her lip, tears shimmering in her eyes, looking utterly wronged. This trick had worked very well in her past life. Everyone sympathized with her and thought I was bullying the new young teacher, but this time, I wasn't going to fall for it again. Aunt Zhang, your son has been in my class for 3 years. You should know what kind of person I am. I turned to Aunt Zhang. If someone suddenly told you these things, wouldn't you find it strange? Aunt Zhang thought carefully. It does seem. Teacher Xiaoya said that Teacher Wang, you often show favoritism toward my Xiaofeng. And she also said she saw you too. Saw us doing what? Saw you two in the office, being very close. Qing Xiaoya said softly. I let out a cold laugh. Close? What kind of close? It's just sitting very close. Sitting very close means an improper relationship. I raised my voice. Teacher Qing, how do you understand the teacher-student relationship? More and more teachers and students gathered around, all whispering among themselves. Qing Xiaoya clearly hadn't expected me to be this forceful and was completely thrown off balance. I didn't mean that. Then what do you mean? I pressed on. You said you saw me and Zhang Xiaofeng being very intimate. What specific behavior are you referring to? At what time? In what place? Were there any other witnesses? Qing Xiaoya stammered and couldn't come up with an answer. Zhang Xiaofeng also realized what was going on and said angrily, Teacher Qing, why would you say that about Teacher Wang and me? I didn't. I really didn't. Qing Xiaoya began to cry just then. Tian Howren arrived at the scene. What happened? He asked with a serious expression. Aunt Zhang quickly explained what had just happened. After hearing it, Tian Howren's face turned grim. Xiaoya, come here. Tian Howren pulled Qing Xiaoya aside, and the two exchanged a few words in low voices. In my previous life, it was Tian Howren who stepped forward at this moment to uphold justice, ostensibly defending me while secretly fanning the flames. This time, I want to see what tricks they can still pull. Tian Howren walked back and said to Mrs. Zhang, this might be a misunderstanding. Teacher Xiaoya is new to the school and may have misinterpreted some things. Teacher Wang is an outstanding educator at our school, with a consistently strong professional and ethical character. Please trust the school's investigation. Mrs. Zhang looked somewhat embarrassed. Then I really owe Teacher Wang an apology. I was misled. It's all right, as long as the misunderstanding is cleared up, Tian Howren said gently, then turned to me. Yuqing, don't take it to heart either. Xiaoya, Teacher Tian, I interrupted him. I think this matter needs to be thoroughly investigated. Tian Howren frowned slightly. Yuqing, it's already been clarified. Has it been clarified? I looked at Qing Xiaoya. Teacher Qing just said she saw me being very intimate with a student. Since she claims to have seen it, there should be a specific time and place. If she can't provide that, then she's lying and falsely accusing a colleague. How should that be handled in the professional ethics and conduct evaluation? Teacher Tian, you know better than I do. Tian Howren's face completely changed. He hadn't expected me to be so aggressive. Qing Xiaoya suddenly spoke up at this moment. Teacher Wang, I apologize. I really misjudged the situation. I'm sorry. After saying that, she turned and ran away. Tian Howren wanted to chase after her, but I stopped him. Teacher Tian, are we just going to let it go like this? Yuqing, she has already apologized, and she's a new teacher. Let's give her a chance, so a new teacher can just casually frame a colleague. I looked at him coldly. Teacher Tian, I don't agree with your way of handling this. After saying that, I also turned and left. Tian Haren's voice came from behind. Yuqing, wait. I did not look back. Back in the office, I immediately turned on my computer and began reviewing the school's regulations on teacher ethics and conduct. In my previous life, I was too naive, thinking that as long as I was innocent, no one could harm me. This time, I will use the system to protect myself. After school in the afternoon, while I was grading homework, Tian Haren walked in. Yuqing, what happened today was Xiaoya's fault, but she has already apologized, and that's it. I didn't even look up. Teacher Tian, what would have happened if I didn't have solid evidence to prove my innocence today? Tian Haren fell silent. We all know the answer. Once the accusation of a teacher-student relationship is substantiated, my career will be completely ruined. Why would she, a trainee teacher, frame me? I looked up at him. Teacher Tian, have you ever considered this question? It might be a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. I stood up and walked over to him. Tian Haren, let me ask you, do you understand Qing Xiaoya? Tian Haren's eyes shifted slightly. She's a new trainee. I don't know her very well. Lies. In my previous life, after I died, they got together very quickly. If they hadn't had prior contact, how could they have established a relationship so fast? Since you don't know her well, why are you speaking up for her? I'm not speaking up for her. I just hope to minimize the issue, make a big issue small. I let out a cold laugh. Then if I hadn't had evidence to clear my name today, would you have brushed it off? 2. Tian Haren was left speechless by my question. I went on. Tian Haren, we've been together for 3 years. Is this really how you see me? Yuqing, that's not what I meant. Then what do you mean? I pressed on, step by step. Do you really think I could have an improper relationship with a student? Of course not. Tian Haren hurriedly denied it. I trust your character. If you trust my character, then why not hold Qing Xiaoya accountable for framing me? Tian Haren was completely stumped by my question, watching him hem and haw. The last shred of fantasy in my heart shattered. This man had never truly been on my side. Chapter 3. When I got home that night, I carefully replayed the events of the day in my mind. I had thwarted Qing Xiaoya's plan, but she and Tian Haren would never let it go. In my previous life, after the teacher-student romance accusation failed, they had plotted an even more vicious frame-up. I had to seize the initiative before they could act. Early the next morning, I deliberately arrived at school ahead of time and went to the principal's office. Principal Tian was reading the newspaper and looked somewhat surprised to see me come in. Xiao Wang, you're here so early. Principal, I'd like to report something to you. I told Principal Tian in detail about how Qing Xiaoya had falsely accused me yesterday, and he frowned deeply as he listened. This happened too. Yes. Fortunately, I have ample evidence to prove my innocence. I handed over the prepared materials. These are records of all my conversations with Zhang Xiaofeng, as well as statements from the teachers who were present at the time. Principal Tian took the materials and examined them carefully, his expression growing increasingly serious. What Qing Xiaoya did is indeed inappropriate. Framing a colleague is a serious breach of professional ethics. Principal, I think this matter needs a thorough investigation, I said. Teacher Qing has only just arrived at the school, and yet she's already done something like this. It makes people worry about her professional integrity. Principal Tian nodded. You're right. I'll have the Academic Affairs Office investigate this matter. Also, I paused. I think there's also a problem with Teacher Tian's attitude in handling this matter. Principal Tian's expression changed. What's wrong with Haren? He clearly knew Teacher Qing was framing me, yet he wanted to downplay the issue. I pretended to be very aggrieved. Principal, if I didn't have evidence to prove my innocence, my reputation would have been completely ruined. Principal Tian remained silent for a long time. Tian Haren is his son, but the issue I raised is indeed very serious. Xiao Wang, you mean, I suspect Teacher Tian might have an improper relationship with Teacher Qing. I deliberately lowered my voice. Otherwise, why would he shield her? Principal Tian's expression completely changed. If Tian Haren really had an improper relationship with an intern, it would have a significant impact on the school's reputation. Do you have any evidence? Not for now, but I think it should be investigated, I said. After all, Teacher Qing's motive for framing me is quite suspicious. Principal Tian thought for a long time before finally nodding. I will have someone look into this matter. Leaving the principal's office, I felt a wave of relief. In my previous life, I was too passive, always waiting for others to hurt me. This time, I'm going to take the initiative. During the second class in the morning, I was in Chinese class when Director Zhang from the Academic Affairs Office walked in. Teacher Wang, please come to the Academic Affairs Office for a moment. The students all looked at me curiously. I knew exactly what was going on. It had to be about Qing Xiaoya. When I arrived at the academic affairs office, Qing Xiaoya was already there, her eyes red as if she had been crying. Teacher Wang, please have a seat. Director Zhang pointed to a chair. Regarding what happened yesterday, the school will conduct a formal investigation. Teacher Qing, say it again. Why did you report Teacher Wang's situation to the parents yesterday? Qing Xiaoya lowered her head and said softly, I thought Teacher Wang was being too nice to Zhang Xiaofeng, so being good is automatically a teacher-student romance. Director Zhang's tone was stern. What evidence do you have? I don't have evidence. I was overthinking. Director Zhang slapped the table. Teacher Qing, falsely accusing a colleague is a serious breach of professional ethics. Do you understand that? Qing Xiaoya cried even harder. I know I was wrong. I apologized to Teacher Wang, and an apology is enough, I said coldly. Teacher Qing, your actions have already caused me significant harm. If I didn't have solid evidence, my reputation would have been completely ruined. Do you think a simple apology can solve the problem? Qing Xiaoya looked up at me, a flash of resentment in her eyes, but she quickly lowered her head again, continuing to play the victim. Teacher Wang, I truly know I was wrong, and I am willing to accept any punishment. Director Zhang looked at me. Teacher Wang, what is your opinion? I demand that Teacher Qing publicly apologize and clarify the facts at the school-wide faculty meeting, I said. Additionally, this incident must be recorded in her professional ethics file. Qing Xiaoya's face turned pale. Teacher Wang, isn't that going too far? I sneered. If you had successfully framed me, what would have become of me? Qing Xiaoya was speechless. Director Zhang thought for a moment. Teacher Wang's request is reasonable. Teacher Qing, you must face the consequences of your actions. Furthermore, in light of your professional ethics issue, the school has decided to suspend your internship qualification pending further investigation. Upon hearing this, the resentment in Qing Xiaoya's eyes could no longer be concealed. She shot me a fierce glare, then stormed out of the academic affairs office. I knew that the real battle had only just begun. After school in the afternoon, Tian Haren found me. His expression was grim. He had clearly already learned about Qing Xiaoya's suspension. Yuqing, aren't you going too far? I looked at him coldly. Teacher Tian, may I ask in what way I've gone too far? Xiaoya is just an intern. She made a mistake. An apology would have been enough. Why did you have to drive her to the wall? Wipe them all out. I laughed in anger. Tian Haren, she accused me of having an inappropriate relationship with a student. That's destroying my career. And you think an apology is enough? She's already admitted she was wrong, so admitting it is the end of it. I cut him off. If her accusation had succeeded today, what would have happened to me? Would you have spoken up for me? Tian Haren was left speechless by my questions. I continued. Tian Haren, we've been together for 3 years. I thought you'd at least stand by my side. I never expected your first instinct would be to protect the person who framed me. I'm not protecting her. I just want what's best for everyone. What's best for everyone, I sneered. And what were you thinking when I was being framed? Tian Haren's face flushed red. Yuqing, don't be unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable. I was completely furious. Tian Haren, I'm asking you, do you like Qing Xiaoya? Tian Haren's face instantly changed. What nonsense are you talking about? Nonsense. I stared into his eyes. Then why are you defending her so much? I'm not defending her. You're not, I sneered. From the moment she framed me, you've been making excuses for her. Now that she's been suspended, you come to blame me for going too far. Tian Haren, where exactly do you stand? Tian Haren was left speechless by my question and finally, in a fit of anger, said, Wang Yuqing, you've changed. Yes, I've changed. I said coldly, I won't be the fool who lets others bully me anymore. With that, I turned and walked away. Tian Haren's voice came from behind me. Yuqing, calm down, let's talk. I did not look back. This man was no longer worth another minute of my time. Chapter 4. That evening, I received a call from an unknown number. Teacher Wang, it's me, Qing Xiaoya. Her voice was choked with sobs, completely different from the aggrieved tone she had used in the academic affairs office during the day. What is it, Teacher Qing? Teacher Wang? I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong, she said, her voice trembling. Can you forgive me? I'm willing to do anything to make it right. Anything, I sneered. Then tell me, why did you frame me? There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. I just had a momentary lapse of judgment. A lapse of judgment. I raised my voice. Qing Xiaoya, do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? No one frames a colleague for no reason. Tell me your real motive. Qing Xiaoya seemed to be crying, but there was a hint of venom in her voice. Teacher Wang, Why must you push me like this? Push you? I sneered. You're the one who provoked me first. I just wanted a chance. What chance? A chance to stay at the school. Her voice grew strained. You know what? The school was planning to keep me after the internship. But Teacher Tian said they already had enough Chinese language teachers. My heart stirred. It was exactly as I had suspected. So you wanted to drive me away? I didn't. I just what? Wanted to ruin my reputation so you could take my place. Qing Xiaoya completely dropped the act, her voice turning sharp. Why can you have everything so easily, while I can only be an intern? I'm younger than you, prettier than you, and my education is no worse than yours. Why did Teacher Tian choose you? There was the real her. So you seduced Tian Haran, hoping he would help you stay at the school. I didn't seduce him, Qing Xiaoya screamed. He was the one who pursued me. But he has a girlfriend, has you, this annoying girlfriend, so you set me up. I didn't set you up. Qing Xiaoya's voice was tearful, but it sounded more like shame turning to anger. I just wanted you to back down, I sneered. Qing Xiaoya, your clever little plan is really something. Unfortunately, you picked the wrong opponent. With that, I hung up the phone, but I knew this call was only the beginning since Qing Xiaoya dared to call me openly and threaten me. It meant she still had more tricks up her sleeve the next morning. As soon as I arrived at the office, I sensed that something was off. The way my coworkers looked at me was strange, some sympathetic, some suspicious, some downright gleeful. Yuqing, come here for a moment. Director Zhang called me over. Following Director Zhang to the Academic Affairs office, I saw several photos on the desk. In the photos were intimate shots of me and Tian Haran together, and some of them were even taken at school. Mr. Wang, what's going on with these photos? Director Zhang's expression was very serious. I picked up the photos and looked at them carefully, immediately understanding in my heart these were all normal group photos taken during my interactions with Tian Haran, but they had been maliciously spread by someone. These are private photos of me and Teacher Tian. Is there a problem? The problem is that these photos are circulating among the students, Director Zhang said with a grim face. Some parents have called to complain, saying that teachers dating at school sets a bad example. I sneered. Director Zhang, does the school have a rule against teachers dating? There's no explicit rule, but being overly intimate at school does indeed set a bad example. Overly intimate? I pointed at the photos. These are just normal group photos, whereas the overly intimate part. But some students have reported that you were in the office. Director Zhang paused, hugging and kissing. My heart sank. In my previous life, it was precisely such rumors that ruined my reputation, which students said that, let them provide evidence. Teacher Wang, your attitude, what's wrong with my attitude? I looked coldly at Director Zhang. Someone maliciously spread my private photos, fabricated rumors to slander me. Why shouldn't I be angry? Where did these photos come from? Who spread them? Has the school investigated? Director Zhang was somewhat embarrassed by my questions. We will look into it. When will you investigate? I pressed on step by step. Or has the school already decided I'm guilty? Just then, Tian Haran walked in. Seeing the photos on the table, his expression turned grim. What is the meaning of this? Director Zhang explained the situation. After hearing it, Tian Haran's face turned ashen. Who spread these photos? It's still unclear, but the damage is already severe, Director Zhang said. The Education Bureau has also received complaints. I watched Tian Haran, curious to see what choice he would make this time. In my previous life, faced with such accusations, he chose to protect himself and cut ties with me. Director Zhang, these photos were all taken privately. I can assure you that Yuqing and I have absolutely never engaged in any inappropriate behavior at school, Tian Haran said, but some students said they saw you. Which student? Tian Haran interrupted Director Zhang. Let them say it to my face. I want to confront them directly. I was a bit surprised. I hadn't expected Tian Haran to speak up for me this time, but I quickly understood. He wasn't protecting me. He was protecting himself. If I were found to have an improper relationship with a student, he, as my boyfriend, would also be implicated. Teacher Tian, calm down, Director Zhang said. The school will investigate this thoroughly. Investigate what? Tian Haran said angrily. Someone is maliciously spreading our private photos and fabricating rumors. This is an insult to our character. The school should be investigating who is maliciously spreading these photos, not questioning our character. Director Zhang was intimidated by Tian Haran's imposing presence. After all, Tian Haran was the principal's son. Then all right, let's investigate the source of the photos first. After leaving the Academic Affairs office, Tian Haran caught up with me. Yuqing, don't worry, I'll handle this matter. I looked at him coldly. Tian Howren, who do you think did this? Tian Howren fell silent. Of course he knew who did it, but he didn't dare say it. Qing Xiaoya called me last night, I said. Tian Howren's expression changed instantly. What did she say? She admitted it. She framed me just to get me to leave school. I looked into his eyes. She also said that you were the one who pursued her first. Tian Howren's face turned red. Yuqing. Don't listen to her nonsense. Nonsense. I let out a cold laugh. Tian Howren, do you dare swear to heaven that nothing ever happened between you and Qing Xiaoya? Tian Howren opened his mouth, but no words came out. My heart turned completely cold even after being reborn. This man was still as cowardly and selfish as ever. Chapter 5. After school in the afternoon, instead of going straight home, I went to an internet cafe near the school. I needed to look something up. In my previous life, those photos and rumors nearly ruined my life. This time, I'm going to find out who's behind it. I turned on the computer and logged into the school's internal forum. Sure enough, those photos were already spreading like wildfire on the forum, and the comments below were even more unsightly. So this is what Teacher Wang is like in private. No wonder she's so nice to the male students. Her true nature is like this. How can a teacher like this be allowed to teach students? I suppressed my anger and carefully examined the poster's information. The account that posted was anonymous, but I noticed one detail. The posting time was 11 p.m. last night, right after Qing Xiaoya called me. Moreover, these photos were all from my phone, and a few of them were ones I hadn't shown to anyone. What does this mean? It means someone hacked into my phone or computer and stole these photos. I continued scrolling through the comments and noticed some very interesting patterns among all the negative comments. A few accounts were particularly active, constantly steering the conversation and inciting others' emotions, and the registration times for these accounts were all very close, clearly created specifically for this matter. I noted down the information of these accounts and then went to the school's surveillance room. As the homeroom teacher, I have the authority to review surveillance footage related to the class. I pulled up the surveillance footage from the office over the past week and examined it carefully. At noon yesterday, I noticed a suspicious figure. Qing Xiaoya took advantage of the empty office and secretly entered my workstation. The surveillance footage showed that she stayed at my computer for nearly 10 minutes. Although my computer was password protected, Qing Xiaoya, as an intern teacher, was aware of the password pattern for the office computers. Having found the evidence, I immediately went to see Director Zhang. Director Zhang, I found the person who spread the photos. Director Zhang was grading assignments and looked up upon hearing my words. Who is it? Qing Xiaoya. I handed him the surveillance screenshot. This is the footage of her at my computer yesterday. After looking at the screenshot, Director Zhang's expression turned very serious. Are you sure she was stealing your photos? My computer stores many private photos, and last night, these photos appeared online, I said. The timeline matches perfectly. Moreover, I also discovered several troll accounts maliciously hyping this up on the forum. This is clearly an organized action. Director Zhang thought for a moment. Do you have any other evidence? Qing Xiaoya called me last night and admitted to framing me, I said. I recorded it. I took out my phone and played the recording of Qing Xiaoya. Upon hearing Qing Xiaoya admit to framing me in the recording, Director Zhang's expression completely changed. This Qing Xiaoya is simply going too far. Director Zhang, I demand the school handle this matter seriously, I said. She stole my private photos, spread them maliciously, and severely damaged my reputation. This isn't just a matter of professional ethics, it's already suspected to be illegal. Director Zhang nodded. You're right, this matter must be dealt with seriously. I'll go report this to the principal right now. Half an hour later, Principal Tian personally came to find me. Xiao Wang, I've already learned about this matter. Principal Tian's expression was grim. Qing Xiaoya's behavior was indeed excessive. The school has decided to expel Qing Xiaoya immediately and will assist you in pursuing legal action. I nodded. Thank you, Principal. Additionally, Principal Tian paused. Regarding Howren, I looked at Principal Tian, waiting for him to continue. I am very disappointed with Howren's conduct in this matter. Principal Tian sighed. As a teacher, he should have defended you immediately, not considered so-called the bigger picture. I've already spoken with him. He will formally apologize to you. I shook my head. Principal, there's no need to apologize. The relationship issue between Teacher Tian and me, we'll handle it ourselves. Principal Tian looked at me, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he just nodded. All right, then let's handle this matter that way. That night, Tian Howren came to see me. His face looked haggard. Clearly he had had a bad day. Yuqing, I'm sorry. He apologized as soon as he opened his mouth. I looked at him coldly and said nothing. I know I was wrong. I Shouldn't have hesitated when you needed support the most. I shouldn't have ignored your feelings for the sake of the so-called bigger picture. Yuqing, can you forgive me? I looked at this man I once loved deeply, my heart filled with mixed emotions in my previous life. I waited for his apology until my death, but it never came in this life. His apology has arrived, but I no longer need it. Tian Haren. What exactly is your relationship with Qing Xiaoya? Tian Haren's face instantly changed. Yuqing, there's absolutely nothing between us. Really? I sneered. Then why did she say you were the one who actively pursued her? She's lying. I cut him off. Tian Haren, dare you look me in the eyes and swear that there's nothing between you and Qing Xiaoya? Tian Haren opened his mouth, but ultimately lowered his head seeing his reaction. I was completely heartbroken. Tian Haren, let's break up. Yuqing, don't. There's no discussion, I said coldly. There's no trust left between us. Yuqing, I can explain. Explain what? I looked at him. Explain why you be seduced by an intern, or explain why you chose to stay silent when I was being framed. Tian Haren was left speechless by my question. Tian Haren, after 3 years together, I thought I would earn your trust and support. My voice choked up a little, but I was wrong. When I needed you the most, you chose to protect someone else. What use is a relationship like that to me? After saying that, I turned and left. Behind me came Tian Haren's shout. Yuqing, wait, let's talk this over again. I did not look back. Once some words are spoken, there is no turning back. Chapter 6. The next morning, the entire school knew that Qing Xiaoya had been expelled. The looks my colleagues gave me were complicated, some sympathetic, some admiring, and some gleeful at my misfortune. Yuqing, I heard Qing Xiaoya packed up and left last night, asked Teacher Li from the office. It was the school's decision. I replied lightly. Serves her right. Teacher Chen from the Chinese department said indignantly. As an intern, she actually dared to falsely accuse a full-time teacher. She really doesn't know her place. I could tell long ago that she wasn't a good person. Teacher Lu from the math department chimed in, dressing up so flamboyantly all day long. She doesn't look like a teacher at all. Listening to my colleagues' discussion, I felt not the slightest pleasure. Although Qing Xiaoya was fired, Tian Haren is still here. And I know this matter is far from over. During the 3rd class in the morning, while I was teaching Chinese to the students, Principal Tian suddenly walked in. Students, continue with the class, I'll listen for a while. Principal Tian sat down at the back of the classroom, and the students all became very nervous. I continued with the lesson, but felt a vague sense of unease inside. After class, Principal Tian called me out into the hallway. Xiao Wang, your lesson just now was very well delivered, Principal Tian said with a smile. The students responded very positively too. Thank you, Principal. Xiao Wang, there's something I'd like to discuss with you. Principal Tian's expression turned serious. The Education Bureau is paying close attention to this incident. My heart tightened. What do you mean? Although we've proven Qing Xiaoya's misconduct, the photos she spread have already gained traction online. Principal Tian sighed. The Education Bureau is concerned about the impact on the school's reputation. So the Education Bureau suggests that you and Haren separate for a while to let things cool down. I let out a cold laugh. Principal, Teacher Tian and I have already broken up. Principal Tian was taken aback. Broken up? When? Last night. Principal Tian remained silent for a long time before finally letting out a sigh. That's good. It'll make it easier to explain to the Education Bureau. Seeing the relieved expression on Principal Tian's face, a wave of sorrow washed over me. So, in their eyes, the relationship between Tian Haren and me was nothing but a burden. After school in the afternoon, as I was packing up to go home, Zhang Xiaofeng walked in. Teacher Wang, can I talk to you? Looking at this student who had been caught up in the turmoil, I felt a pang of guilt in my heart. Of course, have a seat. Zhang Xiaofeng sat down across from me, looking somewhat nervous. Teacher Wang, I heard from Teacher Qing that you and his face flushed. I want to clarify, there's really nothing between us. I know, I said gently. Xiaofeng, this isn't your fault, but now many classmates are talking about it. Zhang Xiaofeng said, lowering his head. Some say I'm having a puppy love, others say I'm. He couldn't finish his sentence. Looking at this excellent student, a surge of anger welled up in my heart. Qing Xiaoya's malicious actions not only hurt me but also harmed an innocent student. Xiaofeng, remember, the truth will always come out, I said earnestly. With a clear conscience, we have nothing to fear from what others say. But teacher, what if this affects my college entrance exam? Seeing the worried expression on Zhang Xiaofeng's face, a sudden idea came to me. Xiaofeng, do you trust me? Of course I do, Zhang Xiaofeng replied without hesitation. Then, Are you willing to help me with something? Zhang Xiaofeng nodded. I took a voice recorder from the drawer and handed it to him. This recording contains Qing Xiaoya admitting to framing me. I want you to release it publicly. Zhang Xiaofeng took the voice recorder, looking somewhat puzzled. Teacher, why don't you release it yourself? Because if it comes from my mouth, others might not believe it, I explained. But if it comes from the mouth of the student who was framed, the effect will be much better. Zhang Xiaofeng thought for a moment and nodded. I understand, teacher. Also, don't tell anyone that I asked you to do this, I instructed. Just say you overheard it by accident. Zhang Xiaofeng nodded in agreement. The next morning, the entire school was in an uproar. Zhang Xiaofeng posted Qing Xiaoya's recording on the school forum and wrote a long article detailing the entire incident. In the recording, Qing Xiaoya personally admitted to framing me, and her attitude was extremely hostile. After hearing the recording, the students were all shocked by Qing Xiaoya's viciousness. Oh my god, this teacher Qing is so evil. To think she would maliciously frame her just to take teacher Wang's position, and she even dragged Zhang Xiaofeng into it. That's really too much. The students' anger quickly spread to the parent group, and the parents also expressed their support for me. Teacher Wang is the most responsible teacher I've ever seen. Someone like Qing Xiaoya is simply not fit to be a teacher. My son is in teacher Wang's class, and we can all see teacher Wang's character. People who slander teachers like this should be made unable to survive in the education field. The direction of public opinion completely reversed. The voices that originally questioned me disappeared, replaced by condemnation of Qing Xiaoya and sympathy for me. The Education Bureau had no choice but to re-examine the matter and ultimately issued a statement clarifying the facts for me. Looking at the overwhelming support on the forum, a long-lost warmth welled up in my heart. In my previous life, I died silently, with no one speaking up for me. In this life, someone has finally upheld justice for me. Around noon, Tian Haren found me. His face looked awful. It was obvious he had heard about the recording. Yuqing, did you give that recording to Zhang Xiaofeng? I looked at him indifferently. What do you think? Why did you do that? Tian Haren's voice was a little agitated. It's already over. So why still what? I interrupted him coldly. Why still want to clear my name, Tian Haren? I was falsely accused of having an affair with a student, and my private photos were maliciously spread. Should I just silently endure it? That's not what I meant. Then what do you mean? I stared into his eyes. Are you saying that for the sake of the so-called bigger picture, I should just swallow my anger? Tian Haren was left speechless by my question. Tian Haren, let me tell you, that Wang Yuqing who swallowed her anger is dead, I said coldly. The me now will never let anyone bully me again. After saying that, I turned and walked away. A sigh from Tian Haren came from behind me, but I didn't look back. Chapter 7. After the news of Qing Xiaoya's dismissal spread, I thought the matter was over, but I underestimated her malice. On a weekend evening, I was preparing lessons at home when I suddenly received a call from an unknown number. Is this teacher Wang Yuqing? Yes. Who is this? I'm a staff member from the Municipal Education Bureau. Someone has filed a real name report accusing you of serious misconduct as a teacher. Please come to the Education Bureau tomorrow to cooperate with the investigation. My heart sank. What am I being accused of? We'll discuss the details tomorrow. Please be there on time. After the call ended, I immediately called Director Zhang. Director Zhang, someone has reported me to the Education Bureau. Do you know what this is about? Director Zhang was also surprised. I don't know about this. Wait a moment. Let me inquire for you. Half an hour later, Director Zhang called back. Yuqing, the situation is somewhat complicated. Director Zhang's voice was very grave. Someone reported that you physically punished students at school and also accepted bribes from parents. I sneered. Qing Xiaoya again. It probably isn't her personally. She's already been expelled and has no standing to report you, Director Zhang said. But the content of the report is very detailed. Clearly, someone is behind this. After hanging up the phone, I fell into deep thought. Although Qing Xiaoya had been expelled, she definitely still had accomplices in my previous life. After the accusation of a teacher-student relationship failed, she orchestrated accusations of physically punishing students and accepting bribes. These accusations may seem flimsy, but dealing with them is troublesome enough to drive me up the wall. I must prepare in advance. Early the next morning, I arrived at the Education Bureau on time. I was received by a middle-aged female official, surnamed Teacher Wang. Someone has reported that you physically punished students during teaching. How do you explain this? I took out the prepared materials. Director Li, this is my class management record. All educational measures are documented in detail. Additionally, here is a joint statement from the parents, proving that I have never physically punished any student. Director Li took the materials and looked them over. her expression showing some surprise. Clearly, she didn't expect me to be so well prepared. Additionally, someone has reported you for accepting bribes from parents. How do you explain that? Accepting bribes, I sneered. May I ask what evidence the informant has? The informant says there are large, unusual transfers in your bank account. I had anticipated this move long ago and produced my bank transaction records. These are my bank statements from the past year. Please review them. Director Lee. I can explain any questions you may have. Director Lee carefully examined the transaction records and found nothing unusual. Teacher Wang. It appears the report is false. Director Lee. I'd like to know who the whistleblower is, I asked. Well, according to regulations, we cannot disclose the identity of the whistleblower. Then what about the specific content of the report? Director Lee hesitated for a moment, but still showed me the report materials. Seeing the content on the materials, I trembled with anger. The materials not only falsely accused me of physically punishing students and accepting bribes, but also claimed that I spread inappropriate remarks in class, influencing students' values even more maliciously. The materials included several obviously photoshopped photos showing me accepting red envelopes from parents. Director Lee. These photos are clearly doctored. I pointed at the photos and said, look here, the lighting effects are completely off. And there are issues with the background too. Director Lee looked carefully and indeed found the problem. It is indeed a bit strange. Director Lee. I suspect someone is maliciously forging evidence to frame me, I said. This is no longer a simple report, but an organized setup. Director Lee's expression turned serious. Teacher Wang, do you have any evidence? I took out Qing Xiaoya's recording and the evidence of the photo stolen from me earlier. This is a recording of Qing Xiaoya admitting to framing me. She has already been expelled from the school for malicious slander. Now, someone is using the same method to continue framing me. I suspect she still has accomplices. Director Lee's face darkened after listening to the recording. That Qing Xiaoya is far too bold. Director Lee. I request that the Education Bureau thoroughly investigate this matter and hold the slanderer legally accountable. Director Lee nodded. We will investigate this carefully. Also, I suggest you file a police report and use legal means to protect your rights. After leaving the Education Bureau, I immediately went to the police station to file a report. After hearing my account, the police also felt the matter was very serious. Teacher Wang, this does indeed involve defamation and fabricated evidence, the officer handling the case said. We will open an investigation. Additionally, you need to be careful. This organized frame-up likely has follow-up actions. The police officer's words made my heart tighten. In my previous life, after all the accusations failed, Qing Xiaoya and Tian Haoren planned a final blow, directly launching a personal attack against me. I must be cautious. Back at school, Director Zhang was already waiting for me. Yuqing, how did it go? I explained the situation at the Education Bureau. After hearing it, Director Zhang was also furious. This Qing Xiaoya is really a persistent ghost. Director Zhang, I suspect she has accomplices, I said. This kind of organized framing isn't something she could have done alone. Director Zhang thought for a moment. Who do you suspect? I paused briefly. Tian Haoren. Director Zhang was taken aback. Haoren, that can't be. He's the principal's son. Precisely because he's the principal's son, he has the ability to orchestrate such a large-scale frame-up, I said. Moreover, Qing Xiaoya mentioned in the recording that Tian Haoren actively pursued her. Director Zhang's expression changed. If that's really the case, then it's truly terrifying. Director Zhang, I need your help, I said. Help me investigate Tian Haoren's recent whereabouts, especially any contact he's had with Qing Xiaoya. Director Zhang hesitated for a moment, then finally nodded. Okay, I'll help you check. That afternoon, I received an even more shocking piece of news. Zhang Xiaofeng's mother called to tell me that someone had approached her, wanting her to come forward and accuse me of encouraging students to have early romantic relationships. Teacher Wang, of course I wouldn't believe such talk, Zhang's mother said indignantly, but I thought you should know about this. That person also said they would give me 100,000 yuan if I cooperated. A chill ran through my heart. They even tried to bribe Zhang Xiaofeng's mother. The person behind this is truly stopping at nothing. Mrs. Zhang, do you have that person's contact information? Yes, I can give it to you. After obtaining the contact information, I immediately reported it to the police. The police decided to have Zhang's mother cooperate to lure that person out. Chapter 8. 3 days later, the police's sting operation began. Zhang's mother waited for the mysterious person at the cafe near the school at the agreed time and place. The police and I were observing from the shadows. At 3 p.m., a young woman wearing a mask and a hat entered the cafe. She looked around, confirmed it was safe, and then walked towards Zhang's mother's table. You must be Zhang Xiaofeng's mother, right? The woman's voice sounded familiar. I listened carefully and realized it was actually Qing Xiaoya. She actually hadn't left the city and was still secretly plotting revenge. Are you the person who contacted me on the phone? Zhang's mother asked. Yes, Qing Xiaoya replied, sitting down and lowering her voice. Regarding the matter of Wang Yuqing, how have you been considering it? I still have some reservations, Zhang's mother said, following the police's instructions. After all, Teacher Wang has been very good to my son, Auntie Zhang. You need to see the reality, Qing Xiaoya said. Wang Yuqing has already been reported, her career is finished. If you don't step forward to testify against her now, once she's completely ruined, you won't get any benefit at all. But I don't have any evidence, said Mrs. Zhang. We will help you prepare the evidence. Qing Xiaoya took out an envelope. There are some evidence inside. You just need to say what's written here. Additionally, here is a 50,000 deposit. You'll get another 50,000 after it's done, Qing Xiaoya pushed the envelope toward Mrs. Zhang. Mrs. Zhang took the envelope and pretended to examine its contents. These are all fake, aren't they, Auntie Zhang? Don't ask too many questions, Qing Xiaoya said. Just say what's written, and the money is yours. Moreover, we will arrange for other parents to testify against Wang Yuqing as well. You won't be fighting alone. Hearing this, both the police and I understood that this was an organized, large-scale framing operation. Well, all right then, Mother Zhang pretended to agree. When does it start? Tomorrow, Qing Xiaoya said. Tomorrow morning, you go to the Education Bureau to report Wang Yuqing. We will arrange for journalists to follow and film. The bigger the commotion, the better. Just at that moment, the police moved in. Freeze, police. Seeing the police, Qing Xiaoya's face instantly turned deathly pale. She wanted to flee. But the exits of the cafe were all blocked by the police. Qing Xiaoya, you are suspected of defamation and extortion. Come with us now. As Qing Xiaoya was handcuffed, she glared at me fiercely. Wang Yuqing, do you think catching me is the end of it? She screamed. You won't come to a good end. I looked at her coldly. Qing Xiaoya, this is the consequence of your false accusations against me. After Qing Xiaoya was taken away, the police began reviewing the evidence she had prepared. All of that so-called evidence was fabricated, including fake chat records, fake photos, fake recordings, and so on. If these things had actually been used to accuse me, even if they were ultimately proven false, they would have caused immense damage to my reputation. Ms. Wang, it's fortunate you reported it to the police in time, the officer said. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unthinkable. Officer, I'd like to know if there are others behind Qing Xiaoya. The police checked Qing Xiaoya's phone and found some valuable information. There are indeed others involved, the police officer said. We will continue the investigation. That evening, Tian Howren took the initiative to find me. His face looked terrible, clearly having already learned the news of Qing Xiaoya's arrest. Yuqing, we need to talk. I looked at him coldly. Tian Howren, has Qing Xiaoya confessed? Tian Howren's face grew even more grim. Yuqing, I admit, Qing Xiaoya and I did have contact. But I wasn't involved in framing you. I swear, not involved, I sneered. Then where did Qing Xiaoya get the money to bribe the parents? Where did she get the resources to contact the media? These are not things a fired intern could accomplish on her own. Tian Howren was silent for a long time, finally letting out a sigh. Alright, I admit it, I did give her some money, but I truly didn't know what she was going to use that money for. I thought she was just having financial difficulties. Financial difficulties. I laughed in anger. Tian Howren, do you take me for a 3-year-old child? You gave money to a fired intern, and you didn't know what she was going to do with it. Tian Howren was left speechless by my question. I continued. Tian Howren, I'm asking you one last time, what exactly is your relationship with Qing Xiaoya? Tian Howren struggled for a long time before finally telling the truth. I did have a relationship with her, but that ended before I met you. And it has nothing to do with framing you. A relationship, I sneered. Tian Howren, when did you meet Qing Xiaoya? Last year, last summer vacation. My heart turned cold. Last summer vacation was when Tian Howren and I officially started our romantic relationship. In other words, while Tian Howren was dating me, he was also involved with Qing Xiaoya. Tian Howren, you make me sick. Yuqing, let me explain. Explain what? I interrupted him. Explain how you were two-timing. Or explain how you and she conspired to frame me. I didn't frame you, Tian Howren hurriedly denied. The false accusations against you were all Qing Xiaoya's doing. I really had no idea. No idea. I took out my phone and played a recording. This was the interrogation recording from when Qing Xiaoya was arrested, which the police had let me listen to. In the recording, Qing Xiaoya clearly stated, Tian Houran gave me money and told me a lot of Wang Yuqing's private information, including her computer password, daily routine, and so on. He just wanted me to ruin Wang Yuqing so that he could be with me openly and honestly. Upon hearing the recording, Tian Houran's face instantly turned pale. Yuqing, this isn't true, not true. I looked at him coldly. Tian Houran, even now you're still going to lie. Tian Houran opened his mouth, but in the end, he said nothing. He knew the truth was out, and there was no use in making excuses anymore. Tian Houran, from today on, we are completely finished, I said coldly. Also, expect a visit from the police. With that, I turned and walked away. Tian Houran's shouts echoed behind me, but I would never look back. This man was utterly unworthy of another minute of my time. Chapter 9. The next morning, the police formally summoned Tian Houran. The news quickly spread throughout the entire school, leaving the teachers in shock. I never imagined teacher Tian was involved in framing Yuqing. Even the principal's son could do such a thing. It's truly disappointing. Yuqing is truly pitiful, betrayed by her boyfriend and the other woman working together against her. Facing my colleagues' gossip, I felt no pleasure at all. I just want to live a peaceful life. Why does someone always have to hurt me? At noon, Principal Tian came to see me in person. He looked much older, with fatigue written all over his face. Xiao Wang, regarding Houran, I'm apologizing to you on his behalf. Principal, you don't need to apologize, I said calmly. This was his own choice. Xiao Wang, can you forgive him? Principal Tian's voice was a little choked up. He's still young. After all, if he's made a mistake, he can still correct it. I looked at the elderly man with his gray hair and felt a pang of sympathy. But I can't forgive Tian Houran, and I won't forgive him. Principal, some mistakes are unforgivable, I said. He not only betrayed our relationship, but also took part in framing me. That has crossed my bottom line. Principal Tian remained silent for a long time before finally nodding. I understand. He stood up. Xiao Wang, the school will give you an explanation. Also, as for the losses you suffered from this incident, the school will provide compensation. Thank you, Principal. After Principal Tian left, I went back to focusing on my work. The college entrance exam is coming up soon, and I can't let personal feelings affect my student studies. After school in the afternoon, Zhang Xiaofeng came to see me. Teacher Wang, I heard Teacher Tian was taken away by the police. Yes, I nodded, but this shouldn't affect your studies. Focus on preparing for the college entrance exam. Teacher Wang, my mom said that if you hadn't discovered Teacher Cheng's scheme in advance, I might have been implicated too. Zhang Xiaofeng said earnestly, thank you for protecting me. Looking at this innocent student, a wave of warmth welled up in my heart. Xiaofeng, it's a teacher's duty to protect their students, I said gently. The best way you can repay me is by studying hard and getting into your ideal university. Zhang Xiaofeng nodded firmly. A week later, the police investigation results came out. Qing Xiaoya and Tian Houran did indeed conspire to frame me. Qing Xiaoya was sentenced to 1 year in prison, and Tian Houran was sentenced to 6 months in prison. The Education Bureau also took action against Tian Houran, revoking his teaching qualification and banning him from working in education for life. Principal Tian also received a warning for poor management. Seeing this outcome, my heart was filled with mixed emotions. In my previous life, they caused my death. In this life, they have reaped what they sowed. Fate is truly ironic. The college entrance examination was held as scheduled, and the students in my class all performed very well. Zhang Xiaofeng was admitted to Tsinghua University, and the other students also got into their ideal universities. At the graduation ceremony, the students gathered around me, reluctant to part. Teacher Wang, we will miss you. Teacher Wang, you must take good care of yourself. Teacher Wang, we will come back to visit you often. Looking at these children about to step out of the school gates, my heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. This is the meaning of being a teacher. Watching the students grow is more important than anything else. After the summer vacation began, the school gave me a month of paid leave to rest properly. Instead of going out to travel, I chose to stay home and read quietly. After going through so many things, I want to re-examine my life. In my previous life, I was too kind and weak, always being bullied. In this life, I have learned to protect myself, but have I also become too cold? I need to find a balance, where I am neither easily bullied nor lose my kind nature. At the end of August, the new semester began. The school assigned me to a new first-year high school class, and I was about to embark on a new journey. On the first day of school, I stood on the podium, looking at the 50 youthful faces in the classroom. Students, I am your homeroom teacher, Ms. Wang Yuqing, I said with a smile, I will accompany you and grow together over the next 3 years. I hope we can trust and support each other, working together to create a wonderful class community. Warm applause erupted from the audience looking at the innocent, smiling faces of the students. A wave of warmth surged in my heart. No matter how many setbacks I've experienced, no matter how many malicious people I've encountered, as long as there are still these pure-hearted children, I have the motivation to keep moving forward. This is the meaning of education. This is the value of my life. After class, I walked out of the classroom. The sunlight was just right. A gentle breeze blew by, carrying the scent of autumn. I took a deep breath, my heart brimming with hope. Although the pain of the past still lingers, I have learned how to face it. No matter what difficulties lie ahead, I will never retreat again, because I know that only by becoming strong can I protect myself and those I love. The Wang Yuqing of the previous life is dead. The me now is a completely new Wang Yuqing, a Wang Yuqing who is no longer weak, no longer bullied by others. Chapter 10. The new semester passed peacefully. The students in my new class were all lovely, and my colleagues were very friendly to me. The matter of Qing Xiaoya and Tian Houran gradually faded from people's memory, and life returned to its normal course. But I knew that some things had changed forever. I became more perceptive, able to detect the malice in others. I became stronger, no longer easily trusting anyone. I became more decisive, determined never to let anyone harm me or my students. One day in October, while I was grading homework in the office, I suddenly received a familiar phone call. Teacher Wang, it's me, Zhang Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng, I said with pleasant surprise. How are you doing at university? I'm doing well, thank you for your concern, teacher. Zhang Xiaofeng's voice was cheerful. Teacher Wang, I have some good news to tell you. What good news? I ran into Qing Xiaoya at the university. My heart tightened. What? Wasn't she sentenced to prison? Yes, but she's already been released, Zhang Xiaofeng said. But don't worry, her current situation isn't good. What do you mean? Her classmates found out about what happened to her in prison, and now no one wants to associate with her, Zhang Xiaofeng explained. Also, she can't find a job. I heard she's working as a waitress. Hearing this news, I felt not a shred of satisfaction, only an indescribable mix of complex emotions. Although Qing Xiaoya has wronged me, seeing her current situation, I don't feel any sense of schadenfreude. Everyone must take responsibility for their own actions. This is the consequence of her choices. Xiaofeng, since you've encountered her, if she needs help and it doesn't violate your principles, you can offer her appropriate assistance. Teacher Wang, Zhang Xiaofeng was somewhat surprised. Don't you resent her? I thought for a moment. I did resent her, but not anymore. She has already paid the price for her actions. There's no need for me to continue holding a grudge. Besides, holding on to hatred is exhausting. I'd rather channel my energy into more meaningful things. Zhang Xiaofeng fell silent for a moment. Teacher Wang, you are truly remarkable. Not greatness, but maturity, I said. Xiaofeng, remember, forgiveness isn't for others, it's for yourself. Only by letting go of the past can you embrace the future. After hanging up the phone, I walked to the window and looked out at the campus, where the leaves of the plane trees were turning yellow. It was autumn, another season of harvest. After going through so many storms, I finally understood what true growth is. Growth is not about becoming indifferent, but about learning to protect yourself while maintaining kindness. Growth is not about seeking revenge on everyone who has hurt you, but about making yourself strong enough that no one can hurt you anymore. Growth is not about forgetting the past, but about learning from it to become a better person. When I got home in the evening, I turned on my computer and started writing in my journal. This is a habit I've developed since my rebirth, recording my feelings and thoughts each day. Today, I received a call from Xiaofeng and learned about Qing Xiaoya's recent situation. Although she once hurt me, I found that I no longer hate her. Perhaps this is what growth is, learning to forgive and learning to let go. Looking back on the experiences of this past year, I have transformed from a weak, passive victim into someone capable of protecting myself. The process was painful, but it was also worthwhile. Tomorrow is a new day. I will continue to work hard, be a good teacher, and nurture more outstanding students. I will also continue to grow, making myself stronger and wiser. After finishing my journal entry, I washed up and lay down in bed, gazing at the starry sky outside the window. My heart was filled with peace. The hatred and pain of my previous life have finally been completely let go. The me of now has already been given a new life, a life of my own, full of hope. The end. Story 2. When I caught Fu Chuan kissing the female secretary and asked him to explain, suddenly, a row of comments appeared. The female supporting character is such a love-struck fool. She knows the male lead is unfaithful, so why does she still forgive him? This female supporting character is really blind. She doesn't choose the loyal childhood sweetheart but insists on pretending to be the male lead savior and courting death. Run, female supporting character, or else after you get married, you'll give birth to triplets, and in the end, when you die, your children will call the female lead mom. I looked down at my flat belly, and in a panic, I pushed Fuchuan towards the female lead. Don't mind me, keep kissing. I called my childhood sweetheart. You said you wanted to marry me before, does that still count? On the other end of the phone, Lu Qingzhou was silent for a few seconds, then spoke with a dry voice. Of course it counts. He asked me, shall we go to the marriage registration office today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. It's too late today. There was a rare hint of joy in Lu Qingzhou's tone. Okay, I'll do whatever my wife says. The comments went crazy. He's already calling her wife. Lu Qingzhou, you're really head over heels in love, brother. You can't really believe her, can you? Have you forgotten how she deceived your feelings before? Has the female supporting character been possessed? Didn't she love the male lead so much that she could die for him? Love Fuchuan to the point of being willing to die for him? No way. In the face of life and death, love is nothing. As soon as I walked out of the company gate and opened WeChat, I saw Lu Qingzhou had sent me dozens of messages. Wife, I booked the hotel and the wedding planner. As long as you're willing, we can hold the wedding anytime. Do you want to take Chinese style or Western style wedding photos, or both? And wife, about that thing, you know, what do you like, gentle or more dominant? Wife, you don't have to answer. I just want to understand in advance to give you a better experience. Did I say something wrong to make you unhappy? Wife, please don't ignore my messages. Is it that bad guy Fuchuan who said something to you again? Wife, you must never believe him again. I stared at the chat box, lost in thought for a moment. The 28-year-old Lu Qingzhou was still the same as when he was 18, always so sincere, straightforward, and clumsy when expressing his love. It seemed that nothing had changed. The comments scrolled frantically. LOL, you can tell Lu Qingzhou is very anxious, for fear that the female supporting character will go back on her word. My goodness, gentle or dominant, is this something I can watch? Lu Qingzhou has a strong sense of service. Can the female supporting character have both? Just do it for us CP shippers. Female supporting character, don't cover the screen with your hand. What kind of lewd words are they that we can't see? The female supporting character must treat Lu Qingzhou well this time and not do anything to hurt him again. Just as I was about to reply to Lu Qingzhou, the chat box showed that the other party was typing. It seemed that Lu Qingzhou was repeatedly revising his words. After a long time, he finally sent a message. Wife, you're not lying to me this time, right? Just as I was about to reply to Lu Qingzhou, Fuchuan suddenly rushed over. The female lead, Su Weiwei, followed behind him. Fuchuan grabbed my hand and explained in a flustered manner. Wan, it's not what you saw. I got drunk at a business dinner today and mistook Su Weiwei for you. There was still a strong smell of alcohol on him. Fuchuan gave Su Weiwei a look. Su Weiwei raised her red and swollen eyes and quickly explained for Fuchuan, her tone extremely sincere. Mr. Fu really made a mistake. I hope miss you won't misunderstand. I looked at Su Weiwei. Indeed, she was the one who should be the female lead. If I were the female lead and was kissed by the male lead I had had a crush on for many years, and he was still calling out another woman's name, not to mention explaining for him, I wouldn't have slapped him on the spot, which was already being nice. Looking at the full screen comments, I roughly knew the subsequent plot. As the vicious female supporting character, I repeatedly hurt the female lead out of jealousy. Later, the fact that I pretended to be the female lead and claimed to be the male lead's savior was exposed. The male lead came to his senses, got rid of me, and lived happily with the female lead. In order to change my tragic ending, I shook off Fuchuan's hand and looked at him with disgust. You and Su Weiwei were almost kissing each other's mouths off just now. What kind of affectionate act are you putting on now? I don't want a dirty man. I'm going to marry Lu Qingzhou soon. Don't pester me anymore. The comments was flooding the screen. Has the female supporting character finally woken up? As long as the female supporting character stays away from the male lead, she should be able to change her doomed to die ending, right? Could the female supporting character be bound to some kind of system? I clearly remember she was brainless and vicious before. Why is she suddenly so clear-headed? I looked at the bottom comments, wanting to refute but feeling powerless. Fuchuan's eyes were scarlet, and he roared at me like a madman. You're going to marry Lu Qingzhou? Wan, you must be doing this to make me angry, right? Didn't you say you would never marry him, no matter who you married? Looking at the out of control Fuchuan, I didn't want to entangle with him and perfunctorily said, yes, you're right. I'm doing this to make you angry. Okay, so, can you disappear from my sighed before my anger subsides. Fu Chuan's emotions eased a bit, and he stared at me with joy. Wan Wan, I knew you said you were marrying Lu Qingzhou to make me angry. I'll come to you when you've calmed down. Just as I sent Fu Chuan away, when I turned around, I met the eyes of the man across the road. Lu Qingzhou was wearing a white shirt on the upper body and black trousers on the lower body. He exuded a sense of laziness with a touch of nobility. His handsome and aggressive face and height made him stand out in the crowd. He looked at me expressionlessly, even though he tried his best to hide his emotions. His drooping hands couldn't stop trembling when Lu Qingzhou walked towards me. I panicked completely. I didn't know how much of the conversation he had heard. Lu Qingzhou stood in front of me, stared at me with downcast eyes for a few seconds, and then pulled the corner of his mouth in a self-deprecating manner. So, the marriage was a lie to me, right? The comments was even more frantic than me. Great. It's the chasing the husband to atone for one's sins plot. We're doomed. The CP I just started shipping isn't going to end in tragedy, is it? Ah, no. Female supporting character. Don't be deceived by Lu Qingzhou's coldness. His favorability towards you is still 95. You just need to use a little trick to win his heart back. Lu Qingzhou can't resist flirting. Why doesn't the female supporting character coax him and act coquettishly? Coax Lu Qingzhou and act coquettishly. This kind of thing felt inexplicably strange when it came to me. I summoned up my courage and said, well, my face turned bright red. Now it was my turn to be in a panic. I really didn't know how to do it. The teacher didn't teach me this. Ah, forget it. I comforted myself. Anyway, Lu Qingzhou will talk himself into it. Maybe he'll get over it in a couple of days without me having to coax him. Suddenly, a comment caught my attention. Is the female supporting character stupid? Lu Qingzhou will become a powerful figure in the capital circle who can cover the sky with one hand in the future, if you don't hold on to his thigh tightly now. Are you waiting for Fu Chuan to take your kidneys later for the female lead? What kind of cliched and absurd plot is this? Can I take back what I just said? I thought for a moment. Compared with losing face, my kidneys seemed more important. Isn't it just coaxing and acting coquettishly? I can do it. I took a deep breath and forced out 2 tears, then said with a choked voice, Lu Qingzhou, I really like you, and I was sincere when I said I wanted to marry you. Just now, when I said I was marrying you to make Fu Chuan angry, it was just a perfunctory way to stop arguing with him. Don't be angry, okay? I took Lu Qingzhou's hand and gently shook it. Lu Qingzhou was stunned for a moment. His fair earlobes and cheeks instantly turned bright red, and he coughed softly in embarrassment. Wan Wan, I'm not angry. I knew Wan Wan liked me. You pretended to like Fu Chuan before. It must have been a test for me. Fortunately, I passed the test. The comments burst into laughter. Brother, why are you self-rationalizing like this? Am I the only one who's shipping this? Lu Qingzhou is so smart. How could he not know that the female supporting character didn't like him before and even hurt him again and again for Fu Chuan? Now that the female supporting character has given him a little bit of sweetness, he's willing to fall for it again. I'm shipping it too, sinking in blatant deception. Lu Qingzhou, he really makes me cry. Lu Qingzhou's favorability has increased to 96. He's so easy to coax. Lu Qingzhou looked up at the overcast sky, frowned, and pretended to struggle as he said, Wan Wan, there will be a heavy rain tonight. You know, I've been afraid of the thunder on rainy days since I was a child, so, can you? The comments went crazy again. The future powerful figure in the capital circle is afraid of thunder. Don't you feel ridiculous when you say that? Brother, Lu Qingzhou is probably afraid that the female supporting character will disappear again when they go to get the marriage certificate tomorrow. After all, the female supporting character is really capable of doing such a thing. Lu Qingzhou bit his lip and said understandingly, if Wan Wan doesn't want to, it's okay, I can get through it myself. It's just that I'll be scared and can't sleep all night, in order to hold on to Lu Qingzhou's thigh tightly. I replied to him with a sincere face, how could I not be willing? I'm more than willing. In front of the villa, as soon as Lu Qingzhou pushed the door open, a loud dog bark came from upstairs, accompanied by the sound of thump 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 as the dog came downstairs. Lu Qingzhou smiled helplessly and gently replied, Tibetan Mastiff, stop barking, it's me, Tibetan Mastiff. I was so scared that I jumped onto Lu Qingzhou, tightly hugging his neck. I was bitten by a Tibetan Mastiff when I was a child, and I'm still very afraid of them. Lu Qingzhou's body stiffened, and his earlobes turned incredibly red. Our bodies were close, his chest was heaving slightly, and his rapid heartbeat was clearly audible. Lu Qingzhou avoided my gaze, and his Adam's apple rolled slightly. He said in a hoarse voice, Wan Wan, can you get down? I hugged him even tighter. No, Lu Qingzhou, I'm scared. Lu Qingzhou's whole body was burning hot, and his voice was restrained. Wan Wan, if you're Scared, you're scared, don't suck on my neck. My face turned red instantly, and I withdrew my mouth. Sorry, I couldn't help it because I was too scared. The corners of Lu Qingzhou's mouth turned up, and he laughed. It's okay, anyway, it's going to happen sooner or later. It's good for me to get used to it in advance. The comments exploded. Lu Qingzhou must be secretly happy. He can hardly hold back his smile. I'm laughing so hard my face is about to crack. The way Lu Qingzhou looks at the female supporting character is so affectionate, it makes people blush. I really want to possess the female supporting character and give the future powerful figure in the capital circle a hickey. Hearing the dog's footsteps getting closer, I was so scared that I buried my face in Lu Qingzhou's shoulder. Lu Qingzhou gently comforted me. Don't be afraid, the Tibetan Mastiff doesn't bite. I mentally prepared myself before daring to open my eyes. The next second, I was so angry that I laughed. Lu Qingzhou, you call this a Tibetan Mastiff? I'm really speechless, looking at the golden retriever circling around Lu Qingzhou. My disbelief was written all over my face. Who in their right mind names a golden retriever Tibetan Mastiff? Hey, why did you suddenly get a dog? I was so heartbroken by you before. My sister bought this dog for me as an emotional support animal. The comments, ha ha ha, an emotional support animal. Lu Qingzhou really needed it before. Is it the time when the female supporting character deliberately flirted with Lu Qingzhou to make the male lead jealous, and Lu Qingzhou got carried away and proposed, but the female supporting character called him delusional? It should be. That night, Lu Qingzhou was drunk and sang farewell love all night, saying that if he believed the female supporting character again, he would be a dog, ha ha ha. But now, just as I was about to get down from Lu Qingzhou, the butler suddenly stuck his head out from the door. He looked at me and Lu Qingzhou, and finally his eyes fell on the light pink mark on Lu Qingzhou's neck. His eyes widened in disbelief. Master, you, I really dislike the butler in Lu Qingzhou's house. He always likes to tattle on me behind my back. I gave him a dirty look. The butler was good at reading the atmosphere. You two go ahead. I'll leave after I finish my lines. I was puzzled. What lines? The butler looked at Lu Qingzhou with a smile. I haven't seen the young master smile like this for a long time. Then, he looked at me with an ant-like smile. Miss you, you're the first woman the young master has ever brought back. I'm done, I'll slip away now. Both Lu Qingzhou and I fell silent. The comments burst into laughter. Butler, your top priority now is to stop reading those domineering president novels, lol. This is like a classic being passed down. Lu Qingzhou and Yuan, what, is he crazy? In the evening, Lu Qingzhou asked me to take a bath first. Halfway through my bath, I heard Lu Qingzhou talking on the phone with his sister. I didn't need to guess to know that the gossipy butler had tattled on me again. His sister said in a displeased tone, why are you getting back together with Yuan again? Mind your own business. I have my own pace. Lu Qingzhou, you really forget all the pain once the wound heals. Have you forgotten how she played with you before? Wake up, Lu Qingzhou retorted. This time it's really different. We like each other now. Only continuous love is real love. Being hot and cold is like tugging at a dog leash. She's willing to tug at my dog leash. Isn't that a sign of liking me? The other side was silent for a few seconds, as if doubting life. You're a hopeless love-struck fool. Just bury yourself. The comments was filled with laughter. LOL. The silence from Lu Qingzhou's sister is deafening. His sister, my mother tongue is speechless. May there be no more love-struck fools in the world. After I finished my bath and came out, Lu Qingzhou went into the bathroom. 10 odd minutes later, there was a bang from the bathroom, followed by the sound of a mirror breaking. I held my breath. Lu Qingzhou has hypoglycemia. Could he have fainted? I instinctively rushed into the bathroom. Lu Qingzhou was lying on the ground, his cheeks flushed from the steam. His 8-pack abs were fully exposed, and water droplets trickled down along his V-line. My eyes involuntarily moved downward. My cheeks instantly turned bright red, and I shamefully covered my eyes with my hands. The comments went crazy. Why censor such a crucial plot? What exactly can't we, the honored members, see? The censorship is good, but don't do it next time while Lu Qingzhou is unconscious. The female supporting character should pounce on him with difficulty. I helped Lu Qingzhou to the sofa. After feeding him a piece of candy, I quickly found a bathrobe from the closet and put it on him. Not long after, Lu Qingzhou opened his eyes. It took him a long time to recover. Lu Qingzhou looked down at the bathrobe on his body and asked me, his face red, Wan, just now. I interrupted him guiltily. Don't worry, there was so much steam in the bathroom just now that I couldn't see anything. Really, believe me. Lu Qingzhou lowered his head and said, oh, sounding extremely disappointed. I sprained my ankle when I was helping Lu Qingzhou out just now, so I was limping a bit when walking. Lu Qingzhou quickly noticed and asked me nervously, Wan, did you sprain your Ankle, I'll call the doctor right away. Could it be the private doctor in those domineering president novels? Is his surname Su? Lu Qingzhou was stunned, then asked me in surprise. Wan, how did you know? LOL. It really is. I stopped Lu Qingzhou. It's too late. Don't trouble Dr. Su, you can just apply some safflower oil for me. After all, it's not easy for Dr. Su to be on night shift every day. Lu Qingzhou found the safflower oil from the medicine box. He knelt down on one knee, poured the safflower oil into his palm, and placed it on my ankle. Lu Qingzhou's hands were very beautiful, with distinct joints, long and powerful, like a meticulously carved work of art. The thin calluses on his fingertips rubbed against my skin, bringing a warm touch. The comments was full of lewd remarks. Doesn't anyone think the veins on Lu Qingzhou's hands are sexy? It's just that his hands are too long. I feel like the female supporting character won't be able to handle it. Who says his hands are long? These hands are amazing. Lu Qingzhou's favorability has increased to 97. The female supporting character, take this great opportunity to flirt with him, max out his favorability, and he'll be completely devoted to you. Then Fu Chuan won't be able to bully you. Well, for the sake of my life and my kidneys, I might as well go all out. I slightly furrowed my brows, leaned over, and whispered in Lu Qingzhou's ear, my voice incredibly soft. Ouch, it hurts. Lu Qingzhou, be gentle. Lu Qingzhou's hand paused, and his earlobes instantly turned bright red. He lowered his head, not daring to meet my gaze, and replied in a hoarse voice, okay, I'll be more gentle. The comments refreshed frantically. Is this a proper conversation? Lu Qingzhou's favorability towards the female supporting character has increased to 98. He really can't resist this handsome man and beautiful woman, kneeling on one knee, submissive. Female-oriented fans are going wild while I was distracted. Looking at the comments, Lu Qingzhou suddenly asked me, Wan, the tuna-shaped moles on my waist are so ugly. Do you hate me? Isn't it just one mole? And it's not ugly at all. Instead, it's very sexy. My words stopped abruptly because I spoke too fast. By the time I realized what I had said, it was already too late. This is no different from confessing. Lu Qingzhou got up and leaned closer to me, blocking a large amount of light above my head. His eyes were too hot and straightforward, and his warm breath blew across my neck, making the air around us a bit more ambiguous. My cheeks were burning. I flusteredly lowered my head to avoid Lu Qingzhou's gaze, but the next second, I saw his fully exposed abs through the deep V bathrobe. My face became even hotter. This atmosphere and posture are so unfair. I pushed Lu Qingzhou away with a red face and hid in the bathroom. The comments was filled with wails. Some people, after wailing, kindly started making spicy comments in the comments. I rinsed my hot cheeks with cold water. When I looked up at the comments again, I was shocked. A line of black-red warning appeared in front of my eyes. Let's start with green comments. If you're warned again, the female supporting character will no longer be able to see the comments. I was so scared that I clasped my hands together. Everyone, be careful with what you say. The comments was eerily quiet for a few seconds, then suddenly exploded. Female supporting character, you can see what we post. Then just now, did the female supporting character see? Forget it, I'll slap myself. My thoughts and words are too dirty. No need to say more. I'll join in and slap myself. I'm laughing so hard. Why are those who were so bold to make spicy comments just now stuttering? Female supporting character, did you really bind a system? Well, I don't have a system. I asked the comments, so how should I address you all? The comments was all talking at once. Choosing any option seemed to make others unhappy. I thought for a while and asked them tentatively, otherwise, should I call you System Lords? The comments was unexpectedly harmonious. Ah, System Lords, this address is so good. Female supporting character, you're so nice. Female supporting character, for the sake of you calling us System Lords, we'll definitely try our best to make sure you live to the end. When I came out of the bathroom, Lu Qingzhou was already in bed. His voice was tired and hoarse. Wan, come to bed and sleep, we have to go get the marriage certificate tomorrow morning. Already sleepy. I don't think Lu Qingzhou is that good. LOL. Lu Qingzhou is not good. If he's not good, there's no good man in the world. I told him to wait a moment, then went to the sofa to pick a teddy bear doll and put it in the middle of the bed. The System Lords sleep in the middle. Female supporting character, you really make me cry. Leopard cat, I'm born. Without the female supporting character, who else would treat us like kids? Not long after I got into bed, Lu Qingzhou suddenly frowned tightly. He pulled my hand and placed it on his chest. Wan, my heart is beating so fast. Am I sick? I looked up at Lu Qingzhou in disbelief, then touched around with my hand, and then looked down in shock. What kind of decent man wears a chest chain under his pajamas? The confused comments. Female supporting character, don't stop. Lu Qingzhou's favorability is rising rapidly, so this is what Lu Qingzhou was up to by going to bed so early. I really thought too little. For the sake of the favorability, I didn't dare to stop moving my hand, but Lu Qingzhou seemed to have overdone it. His cheeks and earlobes were tinged with pink, and his breathing became rapid. He held down my fumbling hand and said in a hoarse voice, "Don't move." I made a request, "Let me take a look, and then I'll stop." Lu Qingzhou was stunned. After struggling for a while, he opened his pajamas with a look of shame. At a glance, he had broad shoulders, a narrow waist, smooth abdominal muscles, and the blood-filled blood vessels and veins on his muscles made people feel faintly excited. The light blue chest chain and waist chain rose and fell with Lu Qingzhou's rapid breathing. Ha ha ha. This is like shooting oneself in the foot. Lu Qingzhou is really all around. To be fair, Lu Qingzhou has a really good figure. Sigh, it's a thin, muscle body. I love it. Lu Qingzhou stared at me with a red face, like a child waiting for an adult's praise. Wan, how do you like it? I pretended to be calm and coughed twice. It's not bad. He looked proud. I knew you'd like it. I've been training according to the type you like. The type I like. I don't think I've ever told Lu Qingzhou about it. Early the next morning, just as the sky was getting bright, when I got up, Lu Qingzhou was still sleeping. He held me tightly in his arms. By the morning sunlight, I carefully examined Lu Qingzhou's sleeping face. Lu Qingzhou had an extremely smooth jawline. His side face was three-dimensional but not sharp. His thin lips were slightly pursed, and his long, thick eyelashes like butterfly wings fluttered gently. The sunlight shone down, casting a dazzling glow on him alone. Tibetan Mastiff was scratching at the door outside, barking woof from time to time, but Lu Qingzhou was sleeping soundly and peacefully. I pushed him. Get up. We'll have breakfast and then go get the marriage certificate. Hearing the words marriage certificate, Lu Qingzhou suddenly opened his eyes and sat up in bed. He was more awake than me. On the way to the marriage registration office, the corners of Lu Qingzhou's mouth were almost reaching the sky. He couldn't wait to call 800 people to tell them he was getting married until we met Fu Chuan. He and Su Weiwei were sitting in a coffee shop next to the marriage registration office. Seeing me and Lu Qingzhou holding hands and standing at the door of the marriage registration office, he rushed out in an out-of-control manner. Su Weiwei followed him with a nervous look. Before Fu Chuan could speak, Su Weiwei explained to me, "Miss you, I just came out with Mr. Fu to discuss a project. Please don't deliberately get a marriage certificate with Mr. Lu to make him angry just to take revenge on Mr. Fu." The comments was full of disbelief. What? This female lead seems a bit scheming. The female lead speaks well. Don't speak next time and get close to Lu Qingzhou just to make Fu Chuan angry. Lu Qingzhou is much better than him. He's 1,000 times better. The Lu Qingzhou beside me was so angry that he laughed. Get a marriage certificate with me to make him angry. Does he even deserve it? The veins on Fu Chuan's face bulged, and he asked me in a trembling voice, Wan, what's going on? I didn't answer him directly. Instead, I asked Fu Chuan, do you remember the avalanche? You were buried under the snow, and I saved you. After Fu Chuan knew I was his savior, he insisted on marrying me to repay the favor. Fu Chuan asked me in confusion, I remember, but what does this have to do with it? Actually, it wasn't me who saved you. I saved a lot of people that night, maybe due to too much panic. My memory was confused, and I thought you were the one I saved. Your real savior is Su Weiwei, not me. Fu Chuan looked at me in disbelief, and his words were stuttering. How is that possible? Wan, are you lying to me to make me angry? I shook my head. It's true. I'm not lying. While the two were shocked, I grabbed their hands and put them together. That's right. You two are a match made in heaven. Fu Chuan, let's cancel our engagement. I don't want you to miss your true happiness. I grabbed Lu Qingzhou's hand and was about to enter the marriage registration office. Fu Chuan tried to stop us, but Lu Qingzhou stood in front of me. He looked down at Fu Chuan indifferently, not saying a word but exuding a strong sense of oppression. Fu Chuan wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Lu Qingzhou. I heard that your company's capital chain has a problem and is on the verge of bankruptcy recently. If you want, I can help speed up the process of your bankruptcy. Fu Chuan's face instantly turned red, and his neck was flushed, but he didn't dare to retort a single word. The comments went wild with joy. Lu Qingzhou is so tall, Fu Chuan has to look up at him. This 189 cm height is so satisfying. I'm so afraid that Fu Chuan will jump up and hit his knees. Lu the Overlord, it's getting cold. Time to make the Fu group go bankrupt. Did Fu Chuan say thank you? Lu Qingzhou said he would help speed up the process. Ha ha ha. I'm relieved to see everyone's words are so sharp when taking the ID photos. The corners of Lu Qingzhou's mouth were almost up to the sky. The staff reminded him, Sir, I understand your joy of getting a marriage certificate with your loved one, but please try to control your smile. It will look better in the photo, Lu Qingzhou said okay on the surface. But when taking the photo, he couldn't stop smiling. The staff Fortunately, the final photo turned out okay. Walking out of the marriage registration office, the warm sunlight shone on us. Lu Qingzhou and I interlocked our fingers. Wan, oops, I mean, wife. When he said the last two words, the tips of his ears were tinged with a light pink. Lu Qingzhou looked at my lips, hesitant to speak, and finally summoned up the courage to say shyly, so, wife, can I kiss you? The comments exploded again. Ah, Lu Qingzhou, how can you be so pure-hearted at the most exciting moment? The pure love warrior has fallen. At least there's a kiss. Our good days are not far away. Lu Qingzhou's favorability has increased to 99.9. Daughter, keep working hard to win him over so soon. For that final 0-1, I decided to go all out. Besides, Lu Qingzhou's lips looked so kissable, it would be a waste not to kiss them. I stared at Lu Qingzhou's handsome face, and my heart started racing uncontrollably. Like a deer pounding in my chest, I stood on tiptoe, put my arms around Lu Qingzhou's neck, and kissed his thin lips. The corners of Lu Qingzhou's mouth curved slightly. He closed his eyes, then took the initiative and put his arm around my waist. His kiss was inexperienced, yet extremely forceful. I was almost out of breath from the kiss, and my legs went weak, but the progress bar still wasn't complete. Back at the villa, I said I wanted to eat the food Lu Qingzhou cooked himself before I met Fu Chuan. I often had the nerve to go to the Lu family to have meals. I couldn't help it. Aunt Lu's cooking was just too delicious. Aunt Lu had worked for the Lu family for over 30 years. Later, when she reached retirement age, she returned to her hometown thousands of miles away. After that, I never had food that suited my taste so well again. I went to the Lu family less and less often. Lu Qingzhou noticed this. He disappeared for a while. Without telling me, he specifically went to Aunt Lu's hometown and learned all the dishes I liked. When I tasted the familiar flavor again, I jumped up excitedly and hugged him. Lu Qingzhou, you're so nice. I vaguely remembered that Lu Qingzhou's body stiffened at that time, and his earlobes were so red that they seemed about to drip blood. He gently pushed me away, not daring to look me in the eye, and said in a hoarse voice, Yuan, don't do this. Men and women should keep a proper distance. Although Lu Qingzhou said so, his body was very honest. It was incredibly hot, and his breathing became heavier. While I was burying my head in the food, he went to the bathroom to take a cold shower while Lu Qingzhou was still cooking. I wanted to cut my nails. I was rummaging through the cabinet in the bedroom for the nail clipper, then I accidentally caught a glimpse of a love letter with a pink cover. I froze, and my mind went blank. The corners of the cover were frayed, and the white part was yellowed, indicating that it had been around for some years. I knew that many girls had given love letters to Lu Qingzhou in junior and senior high school, but he had never accepted any of them. So who wrote this special love letter that he had kept so well? I imagined countless possibilities in my mind, and my fingertips holding the letter trembled slightly. At this moment, I seemed unable to see my own true feelings clearly. Yuan, you don't really like Lu Qingzhou. All you've done is just to survive, so what are you afraid of? Whether Lu Qingzhou liked someone else before or if there's another girl in his heart, what does it have to do with you? After much hesitation, I took a deep breath and opened the long, sealed love letter. Looking at the first line of the letter, I was stunned. It read, Yuan after 18 years old will always like Lu Qingzhou. After that, there was a long stream of chatter. I told Lu Qingzhou not to keep a straight face all the time, to smile more every day, and to be happy knowing that his immunity was low and he got sick easily. I told him to exercise more and strive to become the kind of handsome guy I liked, who looked thin in clothes and had muscles when taking off clothes, with broad shoulders and a narrow waist. In an instant, countless memories flooded into my mind. Those were the 3 years from when Lu Qingzhou was 17 to 20 years old, the years when I liked him the most, until a few months after I wrote the love letter to Lu Qingzhou. I met Fu Chuan for the first time in college. Everything changed. I was like an NPC whose fate was manipulated, obsessively infatuated with him. Fu Chuan said he liked me, and I did all kinds of strange things to monopolize him, but I never asked myself if I really liked him. Did I like Fu Chuan? I probably didn't, and my memories of Lu Qingzhou were gradually being forgotten, or rather, my memories were being forced to blur and be erased. I even ended up not remembering that I had liked Lu Qingzhou, but now, I remembered everything. Lu Qingzhou came to the bedroom to call me out for dinner and was immediately panicked when he saw my red eyes. Wan, what's wrong? I shook my head. Nothing. I just suddenly realized that I had lost something very important. Fortunately, I found it again now. I hugged Lu Qingzhou tightly. His body stiffened. Seeing that I didn't want to talk, he didn't ask any more questions and just hugged me back tightly. Lu Qingzhou wiped away the tears that rolled down my face with his fingertips and gently kissed my forehead. The comments scrolled rapidly. The female lead's memory should have been restored. I remember that the love letter was a key clue in the original plot. Fortunately, it was discovered early. In the original plot, the female supporting character didn't know until she was almost dead. Great, I've been shipping the female supporting character and Lu Qingzhou. This time, I finally picked the right CP. This first love feeling is so great. While Lu Qingzhou and I were busy preparing for the wedding, I heard that Fu Chuan was frantically pursuing Su Weiwei. I jumped for joy. When I heard this news, finally, I don't have to worry about having my kidneys taken. The comments told me to focus on winning over Lu Qingzhou, but no matter how hard I tried, flirting with him and having heart-to-heart talks with him, Lu Qingzhou's favorability remained at 99.9 and didn't increase at all. For that final 0-1, I was determined, of course. This time it wasn't for survival. I loved Lu Qingzhou, so I also wanted him to love me completely. I bought an extremely sexy pink dress. I walked to the mirror. The girl in the mirror had a graceful figure, like a ripe peach, with seductive eyes, bright and charming. The female lead is so beautiful. I can't take my eyes off her. Damn it. Who replaced my traditional Chinese medicine with iced Americano? Ah, all these years of taking traditional Chinese medicine were in vain. I'd be willing to marry the female supporting character, even as a concubine. I also cooked dinner for Lu Qingzhou myself. It was just a bit burnt and didn't look very good. The comments seemed hesitant to speak. Lu Qingzhou, well, he doesn't deserve this. The female supporting character is good looking, but I didn't expect her cooking is like this. The female supporting character looks like she's good at poisoning. Just as I was taking the stewed tomato, braised beef brisket out of the kitchen, I heard the clear sound of the door opening outside. Lu Qingzhou, you're back. I didn't have time to put down the plate in my hand and rushed towards him eagerly. I wanted to show off the result of my first cooking attempt to him, but this time, Lu Qingzhou didn't respond to me immediately. He looked at me expressionlessly, his eyes distant and cold. It seemed that there was an invisible but extremely distant galaxy between us. I asked uneasily, Lu Qingzhou, why do you look so unhappy? Is there something wrong with the company? Tell me, maybe I can help you. Share the burden. Lu Qingzhou interrupted me, his eyes scarlet, and said, in a self-deprecating way, Yuan, I know everything, the comments, the strategy, the favorability. So from the beginning, when you said you wanted to marry me until now, you've been lying to me, right? I held my breath, my hand trembled, and the hot and sticky tomato soup splashed onto my white dress. The air conditioner in the room was set at a high temperature, but I felt as if I had been poured with a bucket of cold water from head to toe, and my whole body was trembling. I knew that Lu Qingzhou hated being lied to the most. When Lu Qingzhou's favorability towards me reached 99.9, he seemed to notice something strange about me. I would often stare blankly ahead, not even hearing Lu Qingzhou calling my name beside me until one time, Lu Qingzhou asked me, Wan, are you hiding something from me? I came back to my senses from looking at the comments. How could I hide anything from you, Lu Qingzhou? Don't think too much. Now, I took a deep breath and looked at Lu Qingzhou with red and swollen eyes. Yes, I did lie to you, but that was at the beginning. I said I wanted to marry you to survive at first, but now, I've really fallen in love with you, Lu Qingzhou, whether you believe it or not. Before I was 18, the person I liked was always you, and it still is now. Lu Qingzhou bent down, wiped the tears from the corner of my eyes with his hand, and his lips landed on my forehead like a soft feather. Silly girl, don't cry. I believe my Wan likes me, I believe every word you say. The comments went crazy. Lu Qingzhou's favorability has increased to 100, so the final 0-1 was because Lu Qingzhou needed to be sure that the female supporting character really loved him before he dared to give his whole heart completely. Then as the female lead's pink battle dress useless, Lu Qingzhou's hand, which was wiping my tears, paused. Wan, what pink battle dress? My cheeks flushed, and I tried to muddle through, I don't know, don't listen to their nonsense. But my pretending to be stupid didn't work. The comments was just adding fuel to the fire. That night, wearing the pink dress, I experienced the ups and downs with Lu Qingzhou again and again, and my body seemed to turn into a puddle of spring water. The next day, my waist was sore and painful when I got up. Of course, Lu Qingzhou wasn't much better. His back was full of red marks scratched by me, and his fair neck was covered with red hickey marks. When Lu Qingzhou was tying his tie, he couldn't cover those marks no matter how hard he tried, and his brows furrowed slightly. The smile on his face now appeared on mine. I mocked him. Humph, Lu Qingzhou, you should have listened to me and shown some restraint last night. Now you can just wait for everyone in the company to gossip about you behind your back. Lu Qingzhou turned to face me, seemingly angry and amused at the same time. Before I could react, he picked me up from the bed. Then, Mrs. Lu, please come to the company with me today and help me deal with other people's idle gossip. Lu Qingzhou, I care about my reputation. But my resistance was completely ineffective. I was taken to his company by Lu Qingzhou. All the employees would glance at Lu Qingzhou's neck twice and then look at me with a knowing smile. Obviously, the marks were on Lu Qingzhou's neck. Why was I the one who felt so embarrassed? I really wanted to cry. I wished I could find a hole in the ground and crawl in. Lu Qingzhou and I had an extremely grand wedding. After the vows were read, I stood on tiptoe, and Lu Qingzhou bent down with a smile and kissed my lips. After the kiss, he gently whispered in my ear, in this short life, I only hope that every year has you, and every year we are together. The comments was filled with excited screams. Ah, I'm being sweetened to death. Lu Qingzhou is really good at this. Single dogs can go downstairs to buy a drink, neither taking the stairs nor the elevator. When I opened my eyes again, the comments in front of me gradually decreased in number, and the color was fading. It was very much like the prelude to a farewell. I said, in a voice that only Lu Qingzhou and I could hear, with solemnity and sincerity, System Lords, thank you. You never gave up on me from beginning to end. Really, I'm especially grateful to all of you who are so kind and have helped me. You changed my ending as a vicious female supporting character who was doomed to die. You rescued me from the manipulation of the plot and gave Lu Qingzhou and me a wonderful ending. May all the System Lords have everything go smoothly, be safe and happy in the days to come. System Lords, see you again if we're fated. Extra story from the male lead's perspective. I met Yuan at my 14-year-old birthday party. My dad invited countless social elites. Looking at their fake smiles and flattery at the table, I just felt disgusted. In fact, everyone knew well that no one cared whose birthday it was. What's more, I was my dad's least favored youngest son. My birthday was just a Vanity Fair for them to flatter and curry favor with each other. Suddenly, a somewhat cautious voice interrupted my thoughts. Hello, my name is Yuan. I glanced at the hand Yuan extended but didn't respond to her, because this was already the nth person tonight who wanted to curry favor with my dad through me. Most of them were around my age and were sent by their parents. Yuan wasn't discouraged. She just asked me, "You don't like coriander, do you?" I was stunned for a moment. I saw you frown when your dad picked up food for you with the serving chopsticks just now. That was the first time someone noticed such a subtle emotion of mine, unlike those adults who would only perfunctorily say some nice-sounding words to me. What shocked me even more was that, in front of everyone, Yuan quickly turned the table around in a big circle. My dad's chopsticks, which had just reached out, stopped awkwardly in mid-air. Everyone around looked at each other in dismay. Yuan's dad immediately gave her a warning look. Unfortunately, Yuan didn't understand the look her dad gave her at all. She even asked with a smile, "Dad, why do you keep looking at me? Is there something wrong with your eyes?" Her dad, after a brief silence, someone spoke up to smooth things over, and the people around started their heated business flattery again as the birthday party was coming to an end. I said the first sentence to Yuan that night, "Next time, think carefully before you act. Don't offend everyone for someone unworthy." She was silent for a moment, then just looked up and asked me with a smile, "Was the garlic pepper lobster delicious tonight?" I nodded, not quite understanding. "Then it's worth it, Lu Qingzhou. It's not your fault that they think you're unworthy, they're the ones who are wrong." That night, Yuan pulled me and chattered a lot. She said I wasn't an unworthy person, I was like her. Worthy of all the best in the world. She said so much that I can't remember clearly now. I only remember that she stood under the light that day, her expression gentle and firm as she talked to me, and my heart was pounding wildly for her.